Yeah, I'm excited to be out of quarantine and actually be back in the gym with our guys. Just being during quarantine, I tell you, it's an awkward feeling. I talked to several different coaches that have been going through it here during the season. It's one thing to go through it out of season, but in season is obviously very, very unique. You're watching college basketball games on at night and you're not playing. Just feels very odd and very weird, but I thought we handled it as good as we could with our guys. I think our guys have the right mindset. Just felt good to be back out there at practice today on the floor. We obviously got a tough opponent, Marquette. Marquette, obviously has had some really some very quality wins here so far this season, beating Wisconsin and beating Creighton. They played UCLA really tough. They've lost a close one to Seton Hall as well. So they've been challenged several times, and they've responded. And Coach Wojo's doing a tremendous job with that group. They got good guard play. DJ Carton is playing really well, transfer from Ohio State. It's very, very, very talented. Kobe McEwen, obviously a guard that can really score the ball and shoot the ball for them. And then their bigs are very, very skilled. They got two new guys in Justin Lewis and Dawson Garcia, who bring a lot of skill and a lot of size, along with Theo John Back, who seems like he's been there for 8 years now. But they rebound the ball extremely well. That's what they do great. I think they're 36th in the country in offensive rebounding. We got to keep them off the offensive glass. We know they're going to be a physical, tough team, and we got to be able to answer that challenge.
Questions for Coach? Adam Baum?
Travis, how do you handle the ramping things back up here? Like what did practice look like today? What will it look like tomorrow? How do you go about trying to get these guys ready for Sunday after a week off?
My two thoughts, Adam, were number one, getting our guys back in shape, right, to play. When you take a week off, you lose your wind very, very quickly. You lose your legs. And I saw that today in practice, right? All of a sudden I saw a bunch of guys just bending over, on their knees, which we don't allow in practice. And I had to keep on reminding them, hey, off your knees, off your knees, off your knees. But guys were gasping for air. But we got to get our guys in shape. That was number one. But number two, also just kind of getting our rhythm back. Almost I felt like we have to almost reteach our system in a lot of ways. It's more about us than Marquette, just our defensive system, our offensive system. Because I thought we had a lot of rhythm on the offensive end, kind of leading up to the quarantine, and you want to get that back. And just a lot of times fatigue can result in a lot of turnovers and sloppiness and sloppy execution and things like that. So try to get that out of our system today.
Rick Corey?
Hey, Travis. Obviously, getting the new guys back with Colby and CJ and Adam gave you more depth and gave you more options. Adding another guy in Ben Stanley to the mix, how do you go about getting enough time for everybody and keeping everybody engaged?
It's a great question. I think Rick, number one, we've told our guys from day one, our team is our advantage that we have is strength in numbers. Right? In order for us to win this year, we have to be able to rely on our depth. We have to be able to come at teams in waves. And our guys have to have an understanding. We're going to play the hot hand, whoever that is, that night. So different nights going to be different guys. And we have to figure out our rotations. I don't have an answer for that right now. We've been working on it during quarantine once I found out that Ben was going to be eligible. Obviously, he's a very good player. He's going to add a lot to our team on both ends of the floor. But that's something that we got to figure out. And I felt like we started to figure it out a little bit in that last game. You're trying to figure out how to play the guys that we had. And now it's like, man, now you throw another guy in there. But I also told our guys, Rick, that if you look at it, the reason we have so much depth this year is because obviously all the uncertainty that's going on with COVID-19, right? We've already had 2 players sit out the first 5 games for quarantine, and they didn't have it, right? But through contact tracing, they had to sit out. We've had a guy now test positive for COVID-19 who's going to be out for weeks, and so it's going to happen. This is going to be this is how it's going to be the rest of the year, Right? There's going to be pauses. There's going to be interruptions. And that's why we have the depth that we have and the versatility that we have. And so I think it's so important to keep our guys in that mindset and that mind frame moving forward, because I do think we have a chance to be a really good team if we can keep everybody on the bus.
I know obviously Ben has been practicing and everything, but how ready is he to make an immediate impact in your opinion?
You know, I think he will. Rick, he was on scout team there for a while, so he didn't get a lot of reps, because I was trying to get, when we had gotten down to about eight scholarship players there for the first 5 games, man, we were having to try to teach guys different positions and that they normally wouldn't play. And he didn't get a lot of reps there for a while. And so now, again, we're ramping him back up, obviously, getting reps. But he's a talented guy. I mean, he's played college basketball. He'll be fine. He'll figure it out. Again, he may be a little bit rusty as far as our system goes, but we'll get him there.
Adam?
How weird is it to scout Marquette and not see Marcus Howard out there and have to worry about a guy like that? Like, how different are they without him on the floor this year? What do they kind of rely on now?
Yeah, Adam, Marcus was an incredible player. I mean, he was an All-American. He was an elite-level scorer. They're a very different team now than they were last year. I think they're more defensive-minded. I think they're more defensive-oriented. I think they're a little tougher, a little bit more physical. They're bigger, stronger. They rebound really, really, really well. So their identity of their team, I think, is way different than it's been the last couple years. And Coach Wojo's done a great job of transforming that, fitting his personnel that he has. And I think that's why they've had the success that they've had early on this season, because they've been challenged. They've had a tremendous schedule. They have. I mean, they've had a tremendous schedule, and they're a different team, but they are a very, very, very good team. A team that I would expect to finish up towards the top of the Big East.
Adam?
We talked earlier in the week about the way that you were having your guys remain engaged this week, and that was by having them scout other Big East teams. Did any of your guys contribute to the game plan on Sunday against Marquette? Did they see anything that you liked?
Yeah, I think the first thing, it's funny, is that when our guys said, man, they're physical. Man, they rebound the ball really well. I mean, they're like shot out of a cannon going to the offensive glass. And so they knew, again, it was good for them to see that, Adam, and not just come from me or Coach Hayes. Coach Hayes, this is his scout. It's good for them to see it and make that own assumption, right? Make that, figure that out on their own. But they know we're going to be in for an absolute war on Sunday. I think that was loud and clear. And then they understood, man, like DJ Carton, man, he can live in the paint. It's funny, like they said our guys said, hey, man, they set a lot of high ball screens for him. We got to do a great job of keeping him out of the paint as best as we possibly can, because he creates so much for himself and for every other player on the floor in a Marquette jersey.
John?
Coach Steele, John Morris with Fox Sports. Your last game, Oklahoma, you guys were unconscious from the three-point line. Now with this time off, what did you give them in the water to make them shoot that well? And how do you try to continue that prowess come Sunday?
Yeah, I would look. The game plan here moving forward is to make 19 threes every single game here on out. If we do that, I feel like we're going to win a lot of games. I'll look like Steve Kerr over there. You got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson, you got all these guys who can shoot. Our ball really moved against Oklahoma. I thought we got good shots. You always talk about like, okay, well, some guys have the ability to make tough shots, right? I thought we got good, open, in rhythm shots. Offense is all about rhythm and flow. I thought we were in a great rhythm against Oklahoma, who's a really good team and very well coached. And our guys are unselfish, and they are. Then ball moves. We do what the game tells us to do. And I think if we can continue to do that moving forward with good spacing, we have good enough talent where we're going to score a lot of points. But we've put a big emphasis on recruiting, shooting, and we've got a lot of guys out there who can do it 1 through 5, which I think makes us a little bit unique. Like Zach Freemantle shooting 44 from 3, and he's 6'9". We haven't really had that around here in a long time. So the spacing, I think, if you ask our guards, allows them to make clean reads, and the ball really moves for us.